Hello and welcome to the Domestic Workers Chronicles. My name is Lindiwe, the owner, founder, franchisor, everything for Made for You, the mate of all mates, the domestic of all domestics, the madam of all madams. Guys, welcome to the channel. If you just joined or you just seeing this channel today, please like the channel, subscribe so you get notification of upcoming episodes, new episodes. In this channel, we're talking everything domestic workers. And today I want to share with you what is domestic workers and categories of domestic workers and different stories and sectors and everything related to this sector. Now, if you joined us, like and subscribe. If you have watched this channel before, like and subscribe. Send us your messages, guys. Send us your nice stories. Send us your horror stories. Send us your challenges. We are here. Let's just meet up. Let's talk. Let's engage. Let's see what we can do and find solutions. You know what? There's one thing I've neglected to tell you guys. We have established, I spoke about the long researches that we have done within the domestic worker space. And I also spoke about a lot of agencies that are mushrooming. And I'm not discrediting them or anything like that. But I think it becomes important that any entrepreneur, before you go into any space, you research and you know how the sector works. So the Made for You brand is a brand that was built based on a lot and lots of research, investigations, surveys. It was not just something that mushroomed and all that. But listen, big up to you if you're trying to make this work. Made for You is also available to partner with you, to help you, to share with you. We'd never compete. We create. We are creators. We believe in that philosophy of creating and never competing. Guys, and also I want to brag a little bit. Somebody said, you know what? You never speak about this beautiful awards. Made for You in itself has won this award. It's a premier award. I think it's from DTI and Small Business Ministries. It was the Job Creation Award. What was it? Yeah, SMME Award actually. It was the SMME Award. And then we won the Job Creation Award from Shanduka Black Umbrellas. We were incubatees within the Shanduka Black Umbrellas in Rivonia. We won the Regional Award for Job Creation and Best Performing SMME. And we won the Businesswoman Association Award for, I think it was Emerging Entrepreneur. And we appreciate that. We've got other awards that we have won. I think we also won the NSBC Award as the Entrepreneur Champion at some point. So we've won a couple of awards for what we are doing, and I appreciate everybody who has acknowledged and seen this initiative as something that can improve our economy, our GDP, and as a tool that can be used as a job creator and a skills developer in the space. So big ups to all of you that has given us award. And some people are saying, but you never talk about your journey, and the journey is so there's so many journeys, guys. You must be clear which one. But the entrepreneur journey for me started, as I said, being exposed to entrepreneurship for me was something that I was exposed to when I was young. So because I came from a poor background, my little brother Kennedy, and one day I'll invite him. Me and him used to sell vegetables. So my mother used to stock the veg, Komarabastad. And we would sell vegetables barefooted. It was bad, guys. And just to augment and help my mother and a bit of a salary. And I had such negative connotation about entrepreneurship because I thought a person starts a business, a small business, because they have nowhere else to go. So that's how I got exposed to entrepreneurship. So to a large extent, I was like, I'm never becoming an entrepreneur. I am only going to focus on building a business or actually not even building a business, becoming an academic. That's why I was pushing to sort of attain certain qualifications. And later on in life, I realized, entrepreneurship actually is a calling. I promise you it's a calling. So, and that's how I got into the space. And when I went into the space of domestic work, more than having been a domestic worker myself and more than having experienced the challenges that employers go through, it was more about how can I impact in this space. A domestic worker a former domestic worker is the only one that has the power to impact and change, because they know the challenges that are within the sector. So it's quite a long story. I have done a couple of interviews on ENCA, on SABC1 Making Moves, on Business Day TV. I've done CNBC. So I hope my producers and everybody would have will sort of, you know, I hope there's a link to that, to those interviews. But if you need it, I mean, request it. We'll send you a link so you watch some of my interviews, so you get to know the real story behind the brand made for you. We've spoken about a lot of things in this sector, and we've spoken about how you can identify and hire a domestic worker. I've discouraged certain spaces and places and mechanisms you can use to source a domestic worker. Some people are against it, some people are for it. So I welcome any opinion that you may have, and I respect it. And we spoke about compliance and HR in this space, and the importance of compliance and HR, and including within that compliance and HR, the vetting and the background checking of the domestic workers themselves, so you know who is within your household. We spoke about the importance of having an employment contract, guys. That is important. We spoke about that. We spoke about the registration of domestic workers for UIF and compensation and injury fund. We spoke about the provident fund that we have for domestic workers, which is quite cheap. It's the same as the medical aid. We do have a medical aid, which is quite cheap, and it's so convenient for you because you don't have to be taking out cash every time auntie says I'm sick and so forth and so on. At least you know, I'm paying the medical aid 315 or so, and therefore she's covered and she can take care of herself. So the compliance and HR aspect of this sector are very important, and indeed they are regulated. So I'm inviting you to bring us your stories, your challenges, and everything that you want us to talk about. We also spoke about training. Guys, please like and subscribe our channel, because I'll be doing a full-on training episodes, and not only will I be doing that, I'll also be going on site. Yes, I'll be going on site so you can see the domestic workers that we train, because the training is in different spaces and sectors. So we do sometimes have sponsored training by the services SETA, and big ups to them. They've been amazing in making sure that we deliver the domestic service training in different provinces to different domestic workers, employed and unemployed. And we're also looking for more sponsorships and funding and assistance so we can have more hygiene and cleaning training. To our hospitality industry, we are saying, please bring your housekeepers. Let's train them. And the nice thing about hospitality is at least you've got venues. I mean, we are working on a plan to have a training academy in Midrand, where anyone who wants to be a professional nanny or a domestic worker or an au pair or a care worker or a commercial cleaner or a healthcare cleaner or a professional household gardener to come in and attend our training. We are praying and hoping that the training itself will have a boarding space where people can be sitting there for 2 months, 3 months, 7 days, whatever, depending on the course that they are training. Now, just to summarize, I promised you this, that I'm going to speak about what is a domestic worker, right? At some point I spoke about, guys, a domestic worker is an umbrella body. It's not one person. It's not that auntie who wears an apron. Now, domestic workers is an umbrella body for different types of household workers. So anyone who works within a private household is deemed by law a domestic worker. So I've got a gardener in my house. He is a domestic worker. You've got a driver at home who picks up the kids and drops them off and takes them to activities and helps them with homeworks and is very much involved with the children's life. That's an au pair. She works within a private household. She's deemed a domestic worker. You've got a home-based care worker. You know care workers, the ones that look like nurses. They take care of outpatients. Outpatients are people that have been hospitalized. I personally had a home-based care worker in 2019 after my horrible accident that I'll talk about someday. So we had a home-based care worker who came with me from hospital. So she was hired to look after me when I'm sitting at home, just help me with medication, help me with certain physio exercises, help me with certain things. At the time, I was still going through normal formal physiotherapy. I was still going through my trauma counseling. So she knew what to do with me. Most people who've been victims of car accidents, they know the trauma that comes with that. So you sometimes wake up and scream, sometimes can't sleep. So the home-based care worker who specializes in outpatients take care of that. They also take care of children, you know, whatever. If a child comes back from hospital, they're discharged, but they still need extra care while they're at home, the home-based care worker takes care of that. They are trained to do that. And most home-based care workers are trained to look after elderly people. So you've got an elderly mom or elderly dad at home, and you don't necessarily want a domestic worker, but you want someone who's a domestic worker, can clean their house, and she can still, you know, make sure that she prepares the meals and keep a clean environment and administer the medication and perhaps assist the you know, umkhulu, no gogo with certain activities. So home-based care workers are trained to do that. But because they work within a private household, they are deemed, yes, you've said it, domestic workers. So, and we have different types of domestic workers. We've got domestic workers that specializes in childcare. So they are called domestic nannies or domestic child minders, depending on the age of the child. And we've got a plain domestic worker that just comes in and do the house chores, the cleaning, the washing, the what, right? And then you've got an au pair that's a specialized childcare minder at a higher level who has maybe a driver's license, computer literate. They can help them with homeworks. They can participate and you know, deliver them and drive them to their activities. That's an au pair, right? So what I want you to understand is that domestic worker is an umbrella body. There are different types of domestic workers, and there are different types of domestic sectors within that umbrella body called the domestic workers. The sectorial determination 7 is the act and the section within the act that actually governs domestic worker employment. So it covers you, it protects you as an employer, it protects you as an employee, right? So please read through that if you can read. And then we've got what people are asking me this, guys. This is so, people are asking me, but Lindy, what is a perfect domestic worker? And my answer is simple. A perfect domestic worker, it's a perfect worker for your household. So that person fits with your family like a glove in a proper hand, right? If you are a size 6, that person is a size 6. Now, a perfect domestic worker might not be perfect for my household because, listen, I like you auntie because my auntie doesn't talk too much. You want someone who talks too much, or you want someone who drinks, or you want someone who goes to church with you. If you are Seven Adventist, you want someone who is eager to join in that on Saturdays. If you're a born-again Christian, you want someone who can cook, clean, and iron, but she also loves the home self. She also shares the word. If ugogo nomkhulu and you are spiritual, you want someone who can also participate when you maugida or awubina kosha. You know, you want someone who can relate to that kind of space. Listen, we're not disregarding the skills, the cooking, the cleaning, the ironing, but we're just saying what is a perfect fit. A perfect fit, a perfect domestic worker is a perfect fit for your family. It does not necessarily mean she's a perfect fit for any other family, but you find that you get along with her. Now, things that you need to avoid as an employer or a potential employer of a domestic worker. Everybody who is planning to employ a domestic worker or who has employed a domestic worker, avoid, especially when you welcome your domestic worker. Auntie, welcome, welcome, welcome. Feel at home. You are part of the family. You know what? You must feel at home. Now, auntie starts feeling at home. And auntie starts taking the remote from the children. They are fighting for the remote. She starts saying, nah, I'm sick for 3 days. I'm not cleaning. Nah, I don't want to eat tribe. I want to eat vors and gourmet, what. And you start feeling like, oh, she's so disrespectful. What's wrong with her? Hey, madam, I can't feel at home. You bled the line. that statement alone is so detrimental and so damaging. So we've had domestic workers that have been employed for many years, and we also did a research. We take efforts in doing research, questioning and understanding the thinking of these domestic workers and their employers. And we understand that that kind of utterance was never said to them. Oh yes, I know, this sounds so insensitive. How about Lindiwe, she stays with us? But the interpretation that they get is that you are desperate and you are begging them and so forth and so on. I'm not saying be harsh, but be firm and make sure the lines are not blurred. So please, let's avoid saying things like that. And another thing to avoid, I'm going to steal 2 more minutes just to say this. Another thing to avoid when you employ u-auntie, stop giving out gifts nje willy-nilly. Now you've got these curtains that you don't want anymore. You pack them, you give auntie. Just nje. The clothes for the little baby, now she's grown, you give auntie. What? Now the interpretation of that employee is that you are begging them and you are sucking up to them. They don't understand. But when you do it in a structural and formal way, in saying, I'm going to pack these curtains, I'm going to pack the clothes, I'm going to do this. After 12 months, maybe in December, when I give them the bonus, I also gift them with that box of old curtains and clothes and whatever. They understand that this is a reward for work well done. It's not me sucking up to them. It's not me coming out as though I'm desperate or anything like that. So we need to understand the mentality of a domestic worker and the mentality of the employer, right? So most of us get taken advantage of because we just wake up and give airtime and data and fiber, access to fiber. And when they sit and be watching Showmakes the whole day on their phones and TikToks, we start complaining, but we enabled that kind of setup. We didn't structure it in a professional manner. I promise you at work you do have free fiber, but you know when to access it, why, when, and how. It's structured. You don't just wake up and start, downloading movies. It's not McDonald's, gay. We are at work here. Let's keep it professional. So most of the mistakes and errors and issues that are happening, 80% are issues that are caused by us as employers of domestic workers. Guys, I'll see you in my next episode. Please subscribe, like our channel, send us messages, critique us, the good, the bad, and the ugly. We are ready to hear it. We'll grow from there. We pray and hope that you keep supporting us. Forgive us for all the mistakes that we have done. We are also still growing. Thank you so much.